Okay, we are live for the first time ever.
White to
White
the
to the
point.
point. A black and forth discussion,
Conversation. See,
conversation.
we already disagree.
Of course. But that's okay. One thing we do agree on, I think, today is Veterans Day. I want to give a shout out to all my brothers and sisters who have served.
I want
It's
to give,
our day.
yeah, I want to give a shout out to my daughter. As a matter of fact, there's a
That's
picture.
right. Your daughter just graduated out of Marine Corps boot camp.
There's a
I
picture of
hope
her.
you told her. I should have told her happy birthday yesterday.
Yeah, absolutely. Because I think the Marine's birthday is this was yesterday.
Yes, it was.
Wow, that's incredible. I want to thank
So,
everyone for their service, except
well,
for
give.
except for T-Mobile. I don't want to thank them for their service.
Well, tell your daughter happy birthday, Jarhead, from me.
I will definitely tell her that. This is an exciting situation. I know you got something on your mind for the inaugural White to the Point.
Yeah, the big thing I've got want to say is that obviously I'm a boomer. I look like a boomer. I'm missing teeth. I dress funky. I'm a vet. So on so on the surface, I'm almost the poster child for a boomer. But inside, I'd like to think it's a bit different. That's why, while you and I are visibly very different, I think we're much more alike than we are different. And if we find those things that we're alike in, it makes it a lot easier for people in general to get along.
Yeah, I don't really have much faith that people are going to get along. I mean, it seems like what was that? Was that Rodney King that said, "Can't we all just get along?" I mean, he said after being virtually assassinated. So hey, I like to get along with people, but the public at large tends to not be that way.
Yeah, I think it was King that said that. I'm not exactly certain who said it first that made it popular, but or that was the reason it became popular. But yeah, it might have been King.
Yeah, yeah, back in 1992 when the
Yeah,
verdict came
something
down.
like that.
Yeah, I think he popularized it.
No, there's been so many riots in L.A. that they all get mixed up in my mind about when they happened.
Well,
I
that's
mean,
because
there,
LA is a hotbed for that kind of stuff, and that was the early '90s. And to be honest with you, there's not much difference now from what I hear.
yeah, started out in the '60s with the Watts riot. Then there's the Rodney King. There was there's riots after OJ, I think.
Yeah, the 1995 O.J. Simpson not guilty verdict, which to
Yeah.
me is, I mean, first of all, I think Johnny Cochran should have won an Emmy Award, seriously, and I think O.J. should have won one for Best Actor in a Television Drama. It's embarrassing.
Hey, they pulled it off, and the prosecutor, why she ever allowed him to try that glove on, I don't know.
Yeah,
That was asking for that's just asking to lose.
I think
If it
what
doesn't, if it doesn't fit, you must have quit.
right, exactly. I think because of the fact that it was so long ago, a lot of people now don't even realize that when he tried that glove on, it had been a year since the murders had taken place. A year, a full year. And the fact that they had been soaked in blood, I think common sense can tell you that the blood just on that alone are going to shrink. And then you have a year between the murder and the trying of the gloves on. So that right there contributed as much as anything to the gloves supposedly not fitting. But like Christopher Darden, the prosecutor said, they fit, but OJ just did a great job of acting.
Yep. Well, he was a TV star at that time.
And for some reason, he hasn't had any roles since the verdict. I don't actually since the
Gee,
murder. I don't understand.
gee, I wonder why.
His last movie came out that same year, The Naked Gun, 33. And, that was 1994, and he hasn't done a movie since. It's like, wow, who retires? after killing somebody. That's crazy.
Hey, how about that? Outlook has just gotten around to send me an email that says we are actually live on YouTube.
You're kidding me.
Yeah, I just got a notice we're actually live.
That's
I
amazing.
could, I could actually bring up a YouTube right now and I could be seeing ourselves.
Really? I wonder if that's. Let me see if I can do that. No, but I know. I want to know because I know you said that you have something about the Marines you wanted to talk about. I'm really interested to know what that is. Not the Marines, but the military or Veterans Day or something.
Well, basically just saying that, yeah, saying thank you to all my brothers and sisters. It is a special day. It's I, I don't know about all of them, of course. I can speak only for myself, but for me, it was my honor and privilege to serve.
Yeah, I know what you mean. It's really a blessing to have people like you guys, all the military people.
And of course, looking forward right now, everything with all the unrest in Israel and Ukraine, and we got Iran that's shaking a saber at us, attacking us here and there through proxies.
Yeah, that that
People
uh,
are,
that worries me.
yeah, people are saying get ready for Armageddon.
Yeah. Well, with me having my daughter over there, more than anything, that's the last thing I want to hear about any type of war or any type of unrest.
I can imagine.
That's just interesting. Now I know the other thing is that we have. I think we had a debate. Was that the Republican debate that we had earlier this week?
Yeah, it was Wednesday, I believe.
Okay. So what I have to say about the Republican debate, it's actually pretty hilarious because I used to think watching Tom and Jerry was funny, but watching watching the debate is actually a lot funnier, and it's a lot of the same thing because it's like you got all these idiots trying to chase a very elusive mouse. And speaking of which, how is Donald Trump doing today? No one can
I
catch
don't
him
know.
to participate, and he still leads. That's amazing.
I know, and he doesn't need to participate. I don't blame him for not participating. I watched the first two debates. I didn't watch this one. I was busy in a committee meeting on something else, but I caught a couple of the replay or some of the replays, and Nikki Haley can go at it. I mean, she has no trouble flying back at somebody.
But would she be able to do that against Trump? Because he is the ultimate cynic and
Yeah,
also the
I
ultimate.
think she could.
Wow, that'd be interesting. I mean, you see what happened when Hillary tried that.
Yeah, well, Hillary. What can I say?
Exactly.
No, no. The thing that's so funny is that I actually supported her back in 2008.
Wow.
Yeah, I actually liked her in 2008. I don't anymore, but
It's funny how you and her husband have the same mindset. One point we liked her, another time we didn't. He hasn't liked her in what 30 years since they got into the White House. It's been 30 years ago.
yeah, that's a whole nother story. Slick Willie.
It's so funny because you're Boomer Jim and he's Banger Bill. That's the difference between you guys. And plus, there's also 7 years in the calendar that separate you two.
Yeah, I knew it wasn't too many,
Yeah.
but no, actually, Bill wasn't that bad of a president.
Really?
No, he wasn't that bad. He did okay. He might not have been aggressive enough at times.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a good I mean, it's quite possible that had he been more aggressive, 9/11 might not have happened, but hard to say on that.
Well, I mean, he didn't have to be aggressive. Monica just gave it to him.
Oh, oh,
Speaking of giving it to somebody, 11 days from now is the 60th anniversary of Lee Harvey Oswald giving it to JFK.
Yeah.
Six,
11? Yeah.
60 years, 11 days from today.
No, 12 days.
Yeah, exactly. 11 plus 11 is 22. So November 22nd, 1963.
Somebody was thinking is the 23rd, but yeah, 22nd.
You forgot to carry the one. That's why. But yeah, 60 years. Can you believe that? Since the Kennedy assassination.
Yep. Trying to remember where I was when I heard the news. I think I was at school.
I was at school too when I got the news, but I got the news 25 years after it happened. So while we got the
Yep.
Kennedy assassination coming up anniversary, we have the Bill Cosby character assassination coming up too. 5 years ago. 7 years.
Okay. Is the cause guilty or not? Did he actually do those things?
He is absolutely guilty.
Yeah.
He is absolutely guilty. He's guilty of several things. Actually, he's guilty of impersonating a person with humanity for so many years. I tell you what, if he had done this in the '60s, they would have never let him on I Spy. They never would have.
No. Well, actually, who knows? They might have. I mean, back then we didn't have the cancel culture quite so much.
Yeah, but we had the lynching culture in heavy force. That's what we did have.
Yeah. Okay.
That's the ultimate way to cancel somebody, by the way.
Well, yeah. That's fairly obvious.
Yeah, and but, what can you say? I mean, listen, he played his role. I guess we forget that Bill Cosby was an actor, and when you're an actor, you tend to be an actor in everything.
I actually saw him live one time in Austin, Texas, during the '90s, and he puts on a great show. His comedy is great. I saw him when he was doing his fatherhood tour.
Hmm. But what you just said was a lot of Captain Obvious things. You said you saw him live. He never saw any of his victims live. They were usually passed out. The other thing is, you said he put on a great show. You're right. He did. He really put on a great show. He made us think for decades. He was unscrupulous. He was a morally upstanding citizen. He's been unscrupulous.
On the surface, yeah. I mean, Dr. Huxley. I mean, the Cosby Show, the Cosby Kids, all his comedy records. I mean, that's why it hit me as such a shock when the accusations came out and saying, "What? The cause?
Yeah.
No."
I tell you what, Cosby is like a very funny stand, but I tell you the biggest jokes happen when he's laying down. Kidding. Not really.
Deontay, I really don't know about you at times. I really don't.
I'm just saying. We got to be honest. I'm just getting white to the point, man. I mean, you can beat around the bush and sugarcoat it all you want, man. But I'm getting white to the point.
Well, talking about Bush, since that's the president, I guess we can jump on to Trump real quick, since he's also a former president. You've got the hat on. Is Trump guilty or not? Has he done anything criminal or is he criminally guilty of anything he's been charged with? And the only criminal charges against him are what in Georgia for the election fraud?
Yeah, well, I tell you this. In the immortal words of Detective Alonzo Harris, played masterfully by Denzel Washington in the movie Training Day, he said, "It's not what you know, it's what you can prove." And so, with that being said, we know that Trump is as crooked as a pair of panties that you just rushed off the chick's hips. However, however, because we know that, it doesn't really mean anything if we can't prove it. And if it could have been proven by now, I think that he would definitely be in custody. So
Now, that being said, do you think that any of these trials that are going on, do you think any of them are actually fair, or do you think there's a foregone conclusion that they're going to go against them?
I think the whole situation is a lot like when, for example, in the NBA with Dennis Rodman, when he played for the Bulls, he would get technical fouls and get thrown out of games a lot based on his reputation. And so for me, I think that these, for lack of a better term, are trumped up charges in some respect. However, there's a lot of validity to them, and I think that he's a target because he made himself a target. Anytime you act like a knucklehead in public, there's going to be people watching and wanting to kind of put you in your place, even when you're rich and powerful, especially when you're rich and powerful.
Yeah, that's sort of. I think that's the same way that I feel on it. I'm certain that Trump's cut a few corners here and there, to put it mildly. But I think that the trial up in New York, which is a civil trial, I think that one is just a foregone conclusion, no matter what. Well, they already found him liable, so they're going to hit him with a big fine. I think that one was pretty much groundless.
Yeah,
The judge had made up their mind ahead of time. That'll be appealed, probably reversed, so on. It doesn't affect the election or his eligibility. The one in Georgia, that's the one that's going to be interesting. That's the one that could conceivably put him in prison.
that would be interesting if that. To be
Oh
honest,
yeah.
I can't see that happening. Although that would be a groundbreaking day. And can you imagine the support he would get? He would probably get more money sent to him by followers in prison than the money he's accumulated in his life, because that's just the genius level person that he is. When people ask me, "Hey, are you a Trump supporter?" or anything, I'm actually a genius supporter. I support anybody that's a genius, and I've said it before. Trump is an unfettered genius because
Yep,
look at how,
I agree.
yeah, he's. We talk about Tom and Jerry. He's exactly like Jerry. I mean, when Tom is chasing, I mean, call everybody a bunch of Toms, and some of them are Uncle Toms, and shout out to Clarence Thomas. But what you know, but Trump is the ultimate elusive Jerry, and no matter what, you can't get just when you think you got him, a pot falls on your head, just like on Tom and Jerry.
Hey, I just see that BJ's there in our comments.
You're killing
Hey,
me,
BJ, that's Bobby John.
Bobby John. I like Bobby John is a good guy. Wait, who's
Uh,
Bobby John?
Now, Bobby John, he's well, not my nephew by blood, but nephew for in all respects. I've known him since he was born. He's about your age, Deontay.
Oh wow, he's 76. Holy smoke, that's amazing. Well, Bobby John, is pretty great to meet you virtually.
Yeah, yeah. His dad and I go back to our teenage years when he and I first became friends.
Wow, that actually sounds like R. Kelly's every relationship. We go back to her teenage years. Anyways,
Yeah, Bobby, thanks for showing up.
yeah, that's great. I will tell you though, man, the holiday season is upon us, and there's going to be a lot more chaos going on in the world because you know how it gets when it's the shopping season and a season of goodwill.
Uh, yeah, except that Goodwill does not exist in a shopping mall parking lot or in the stores themselves.
Oh, are you referring to those shootouts?
No, I'm talking about trying to find a parking spot at any mall.
Yeah, that's embarrassing. That's
Yeah,
embarrassing.
people get hostile over that.
I actually started looking up hot air balloon rentals because I feel like it would probably be a lot easier to get one of those to just drop you off on top of the store. It's so embarrassing.
Yeah, jetpack. There you go.
Yeah, it's so crazy. I don't know, man. I got to tell you right now. You know all about my first book. The FUCK Your Insecurities, right? But what
Yep.
I got to say about the Republican National Convention that's going to be coming up and the current state of the Republican Party is my second book, which I'm sure you know about that, the one that's
Yep.
called Face It. And they don't even seem to realize that all the people involved in some way, shape, or form are toxic. And to be honest with you, I don't even understand what the point of a debate is. I get it that you want to raise the public's awareness of your whatever your policies are, but what doesn't really jibe with me is the fact that it seems to do little in terms of gaining you traction because everyone is still at like 1%, 3%. Trump is at like 1 million%. He's not even showing up and he's at 1 million% interest. So what's the point of these debates?
Well, actually, I'm going to say that Nikki Haley, she has been getting traction. She's continually moved up. She's passed DeSantis in some places. I think that if for some reason Trump is not the candidate, it will be Haley.
Wow.
I mean, and they do so for purpose. We're finding out about Ramaswamy. This guy, he's basically Trump light. He's Trump Jr.
Thanks.
He's almost identical in lockstep with Trump. Christie, come on.
Christie. Yeah. Oh my God. Christie is the now that right there. If you want to talk about a joke, it's Christie.
Yeah, I don't even know why he's still up on the stage.
Yeah.
He probably won't be there next month.
Yeah. He's probably going to take a fall harder than Joe Biden. You know what? Speaking of Joe Biden, did you see
Yeah.
Senator Kennedy? His blistering takedown of Joe Biden.
No, I didn't.
Wow.
I heard something about it, but I didn't catch the story. And then you got RFK. What about RFK Jr.? What do you think about him? He's actually leading in some states. Oh, rather, the poll I saw yesterday among young people, he's actually in front of both Biden and Trump.
Yikes.
Yeah, but he's getting no coverage at all to speak of.
I tell you what.
And now you've got Joe. What about Joe Manchin? He says he's not going to run for re-election in West Virginia, and he's a known member or a known supporter of the No Labels Party
Exactly.
or movement.
Right.
And he's the one who's actually a real threat because No Labels has got the funding that they can actually get ballot access in all 50 states.
Oh my God. I tell you what, man. If Manchin does run, I'm going to run for the hills. As a matter of fact, I'm going to.
Why?
Yeah, I mean that. Listen, man. There are no good options. It's like going to the grocery store and you're looking for cereal, and all there is shredded wheat and cornflakes. Okay, I mean seriously, who the heck wants that? Who wants either one of them?
Shredded wheat's not that bad, really. Not the
Yeah,
at least
when
the
you're
bite size.
150 years old, yeah, of course.
No, the bite size is okay.
Oh, jeez. God, I don't know, man.
Frosted shredded wheat.
At this point, I think I would vote Sirhan into the White House. Seriously, that's what I think I would do. That's how bad it's gotten.
Oh.
Yeah, that's how bad it's gotten.
But no, I don't see anyone that's really a good. Manchin, he, out of everybody who's up there, he might be the most reasonable in terms of looking at things realistically.
Yeah.
Hey, by the way, congratulations. You now have legal marijuana in Ohio. I understand that the law actually goes into effect when next month, December 7th.
Yeah, well, you know what? As a person who's never smoked marijuana, I feel like anyone who voted for that, they're just blowing off smoke. That's all they're doing. They're just blowing off smoke.
Well, I don't partake either. I think I'm pretty much basically allergic to it. I tried it back when I was younger, and whenever a couple of times I tried it, I got sick as a dog.
Yeah. Yeah, screw that. I ain't got time for that. Look, listen, marijuana
Hey,
is.
yep.
What happened?
I was just seeing what Bobby is typing here.
Oh, I like Bobby. Bobby's probably my favorite. At least that's what Ethel Kennedy said.
Yeah. Anyway, we've pretty much, I think we're coming up on our time box. We wanted to keep this around 10 or 15 minutes. We've gone to 23 minutes, but that's okay.
It's okay, man, because I tell you what, I'm really looking forward to these upcoming episodes because there are so many things that we have to discuss. And right now, this is really a trial run. We want to make sure that we have our wits about us and that we are making some type of statement. Whether
Yeah, I was going to say we were going to talk about the differences between the generations. We're going to go down that when people talk about the good old days. Well, hey, they're not that good, and what And what did you have as a kid versus what I had as a kid that's sort of a stereotype but wasn't really there?
Well, I tell you what, I feel like that I've been a kid for every generation. That sounds crazy. I feel like my childhood was in the 50s, was in the 60s, the 70s, the 80s, and the 90s. I really feel like that because there's something about growing up in 1961 that was really awesome. When you get a chance to turn on Leave It to Beaver, and you can see how simple it was, and how June Cleaver would talk very pornographic, but it didn't seem like it when she would say, "Stop being so hard on the beaver." I mean,
Yeah.
nobody batted an eye if she was talking more perverted than Hugh Hefner in 1961. She would say, "Ward, you were a little hard on the beaver," and then he would smirk at her, and he, like as if he knew what they did the previous night. You were a little hard on the beaver. I mean, wow.
Yeah.
They could have made a porn called "Leave It in Her Beaver." But then so that was my childhood in 1961, and then my childhood in 1971. I felt like I had to stifle myself every time I talked to Archie Bunker, you know, because he always talked about all the people that he despised. And then my childhood in 1981, I was busy buying up all the Farrah Fawcett posters, you know, and wishing that I was John Ritter because I can, live with a hot blonde, a hot brunette, and then act like I was gay so nobody would know what I was doing, And then
Yep.
my childhood in 1991, I'm just like, oh my God, I can't believe this, but I get a chance to look at George Bush and, be happy that I'm talking about George Bush Sr. and
Right.
be happy that I am not him so I can just go and watch the TV show Dallas because, J.R. Ewing to me was more successful from Texas than he was.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, my childhood has been every decade. So I'm like Gen X, Gen everything.
Yeah.
What,
Bobby,
what,
you're right. These elections, it's like they don't mean a damn thing.
is that what Bobby's saying?
Yeah. It says that the elections that just happened prove polls don't mean anything. Well, yeah, the polls don't mean anything, but neither do the elections in many respects.
Wow. Yeah, I tell you what, he's right. Elections don't mean anything, and the polls don't tell you anything. It's like you get more meaning from the poll from erections than elections.
Yeah. Well, okay, we're definitely running overtime. We're going to be doing this every week, 1 p.m. Eastern Time, 10 a.m. Pacific Time. Please join us and give us ideas to talk about. I mean, this didn't go anything near like what we thought it would right this time around. Normally, our discussions get a bit more freewheeling or a bit wild at times. We don't ever fight or anything, nothing like that. You're not going to see us go off on each other too much.
Right. Now, one thing
But
I
any topic is fair game.
yeah, any topic. I tell you what, we even if we can get some more, maybe even another person joining in with us and having like a special guest, co-host or something. And if it was somebody from the West Coast, that would make it more Pacific instead of more specific.
Although Sean would be a good candidate.
Yeah, Sean's a good guy. We like Sean.
Oh yeah, Sean would be good. Trying to think who else. Actually, well, the people I know who'd like to do it are all in politics, Reform Party people.
Perfect. That's perfect.
Yeah, we can bring in politics. About the only topic that is more or less off limits, and not for any specific reason other than out of respect, would be religion.
Right.
That's a third rail for me,
Right.
especially once again, Israel and Hamas. Oh man,
Yeah. I know what you mean.
Can't we all just get along?
That's not really possible.
Okay, anyway, hit that like and subscribe, please. Help me out. Social Security doesn't pay that much.
That's
So
hilarious.
the sooner we can get to 1,000 subscribers, the happier I'm going to be.
Well, it's just a matter
Actually, what we're doing is building up your retirement fund, probably, because Gina is going to that probably benefit the most for having 1,000 subscribers, because we'll probably get that the day before I die.
Listen, there is no more Lee Harvey Oswald, so you don't have to worry about dying anytime soon.
Yeah, my kids like to say I'm either too stubborn or too stupid to die.
No, you're fine. Listen, you're perfect. Except for all the stuff that sucks about you, everything else is awesome.
Thanks a lot.
No, we love Boomer Jim. We love him.
On that note,
Trump 2028.
oh, well, no, that's going to be Ivanka Trump then.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Can you imagine her running for president? Oh, man.
Yeah, I can't. Actually.
I mean, the posters that would be sold.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that would be hilarious actually.
Yeah. All right. Okay, Deontay, I'll see you next week.
Of course.
And the rest of you, hasta.